everyone, welcome to this year's very first POCO launch event. We hope you are excited to start the year. My name is Kevin. I'm the general manager of POCO Global. It's been almost a year since I've been on stage, and it feels really good to be back. We got a lot to go over today, but first, I want to wish everyone a belated Happy New Year. It's our first launch event of 2022, and for those who are just joining us or don't know much about us, let's take a look at what happened in 2021 for POCO. It was a big year for us. In 2021, we were able to launch 6 devices globally. We had our POCO F3 GT, the first gaming phone, the POCO F3, the 5G flagship killer with Snapdragon 870, POCO X3 Pro, the 4G flagship killer with Snapdragon 860. The first time bring GT series in X series, and the POCO M3 Pro 5G and POCO M4 Pro 5G, the most affordable 5G smartphone in the market. Make everyone can enjoy 5G. With this device, we were able to hit our highest shipment volume per year ever since we established the brand. Hitting more than 20 million smartphones shipped for us in one single year. For a brand that just get independent only 1 year, this is unbelievable result not only to us, but also in the smartphone industry. Here, I would like to thank you all POCO fans. Without your support, we cannot achieve this amazing milestone. Now, what really contributed last year's success was actually a particularly series, the X series, has shipped more than 11 million units. It has been our hottest seller, and it's become one of the most crucial product line in the brand. And there is one model that has really stood out from last year that I want to talk about, the POCO X3 Pro. With standout specs like Snapdragon 860, 120 Hz refresh rate, a big battery with 33-watt fast charging, along with other features that really seems crazy for a device that came in at a retail price of 249 euros. And POCO X3 Pro alone has shipped more than 8 million units globally, making it our best seller of all time within all of our models. This even beats our legendary, the first smartphone, POCO F1. It was crowned #1 mid-range for GSM Arena 2021 smartphone list. It was an honorable mention as one of the best budget smartphone of 2021 by Mr. Host Boss. And huge tech media such as Angel Center and Trust Review gave kind of word such as a new standard for performance in the budget segment, a hit among gamers. It really was a device that was loved by the fans, media, and the team. And we'll look at why it was loved. By featuring a Snapdragon 860 in affordable round performer, fans and users loved it. It was a performance-focused phone, more performance rather than all-rounder, which means there's plenty of room to improve and make it an even stronger all-round device. In 2022, in our X series, we plan to become an even better all-round device. Not only narrowing down the performance aspect of the smartphone, but the battery, display, camera, and the overall experience. Today, following up an already very successful smartphone, we plan to give you a successor, introducing our latest, the POCO X4 Pro 5G. It's a smartphone we are super excited about. We like to call it the all-around ace. Let's dive into the detail and see what the X4 Pro 5G has offered. Let's invite Angus on stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. And hello, everyone. We're back. Very exciting stuff this year. And we kick it off with the X4 Pro 5G. Let's get on with it. I'd like to start off with design. For me, I always thought the X series had some pretty cool design. Ever since we launched our first X3 NFC in 2020, we had a unique standout design with our racing stripe down the middle of the phone. It was stunning with the combination of cool colors we had for these phones, such as Phantom Black and Cobalt Blue. Let's take a glimpse of what the X4 Pro 5G looks like. Pretty awesome design, right? Let's start with Laser Black, our first color for the X4 Pro 5G. As you can see, it's got lines of light across the body design, kind of like a laser shooting up, which is exactly why we named it Laser Black. In certain angles, it can really give off an effect of lights shooting up into the night sky. And it's not so much different with our blue variant. It's got the same unique laser lighting effect along with vibrant looking blue, which is always a great choice for those who want a young and bold look. And we got a new color for you in the X series. For the first time ever, introducing POCO Yellow. Now, POCO Yellow, as a color within our devices, isn't that crazy anymore, as we've been exploring this color with our M series ever since 2020. However, after a year and a half of seeing how well they were received, we wanted to bring this color onto our hottest selling series. So with the POCO X4 Pro 5G, we have 3 stunning colors, with POCO Yellow being the newest addition color into this family. Which one is your top choice? I gotta say, I think I'm falling in love with POCO Yellow in the X series. But color isn't the only thing we have improved or made changes in the latest model. In order to achieve this lighting effect, one crucial element is to actually change the material of the back panel. For the first time ever as well, we have put a glass body onto our X series, which gives our users a premium and sturdy hand feel experience. By making it a glass body, we were also able to make it our thinnest X series smartphone yet. Only comes in at 8.12 millimeter slim. This will help shave off some weight and also increase the hand feel experience. It's a huge part of the design experience, and we aim to improve at it continuously. So when we take a look at a comparison between X3 Pro and X4 Pro, we maintain the 3 cool color design that is stunning, unique, and bold. We improved on its weight, thickness, and texture by decreasing the thickness from 9.4 millimeter to 8.12 millimeter, which is a lot in smartphone measurements, from a plastic back panel to a glass body, and then achieving it to be 10 grams lighter. It's an improvement all around. Now, we have talked about the back and made some comparisons. Let's look at the front. Ace display for the X4 Pro. It's a very important part. Let's take a look at the X3 Pro's display. When this was launched in March 2021, for a device that was priced under 250 euros, it had outstanding specs, such as 120 Hz refresh rate, 240 Hz touch sampling rate, and of course, all of that on a big screen. It really was a great screen at the time. But it wasn't perfect, and there was always room for improvement. And I believe one of the biggest upgrades people has been looking for on the X3 Pro or the X3 NFC is this display material. It was an LCD display, and after seeing a lot of comments from users and fans, you guys really wanted one thing in display, and today it's here, featuring on the X4 Pro 5G, AMOLED display, a spec most wanted by fans ever since POCO X3 NFC. And this is the first time we're featuring AMOLED for X series. Now, one of the major upgrades of having AMOLED instead of LCD, it's its brightness. With AMOLED technology, we were able to get great contrast ratio of 4.5 million to 1, 1200 nits on peak brightness, which is super bright, and a high brightness level of 700 nits. So we make sure colors and brightness is aced. And then of course, AMOLED with the POCO X4 Pro 5G, we also support DCI-P3 wide color gamut, which brings accurate coloring to our users' viewing experience. So with these specifications behind our AMOLED display, you're certainly going to get a great viewing experience when it comes to viewing clearly and with accurate colors. So to give you guys a brief explanation and benefit of what AMOLED can offer, it can actually offer a better eye care experience, real black on the screen, give you a clear view, and it actually slims down the design, like we mentioned earlier, on how the X4 Pro 5G is thinner than ever. But besides AMOLED, we still maintain being a fast screen. We're one of the first smartphones to put 120 Hz refresh rate in an affordable range. And we plan to do the same this year, to be one of the few devices to offer 120 Hz and AMOLED together in the mid-range segment. We increased our touch sampling rate to a flagship level, 360 Hz. Now, this allows our gamers to really ace their game and support their fast reaction time. So when you add in 120 Hz refresh rate and 360 Hz touch sampling rate, the speed of the screen is incredible. We have improved and still maintained a flagship level display in the mid-range segment. And all of that awesome speed features will stay maintained on a massive 6.67-inch screen, which is perfect for video watching, gaming, or just scrolling and browsing on the web. For those big screen lovers, this is a sweet size. But not only the X4 Pro screen is fast, clear, and bright, we make sure we can protect our users' eyes while using the phone. With SGS Eye Care certification, software functions such as Reading Mode 3.0 and Sunlight Display, we make sure you can enjoy the best viewing experience without straining your eyes. So when we said Ace Display, we really make sure we lived up to our fans' expectations. Starting with X3 Pro's fast screen that everyone loved, we upgraded to AMOLED, which is something I know many fans and users have been waiting for. This is our X4 Pro's Ace Display. Now, besides having a great display and design for our X4 Pro, we do have an Ace camera as well. Ace camera on POCO. It's a pretty fresh concept for you guys, probably. For the first time, we're featuring 108 megapixel on the X4 Pro 5G. With 108 megapixel, you can ace your content, take super clear shots, really up your photography game. And most importantly, this is our first 108 megapixel among our POCO smartphones. Not just X series, but among the whole line of products. And in case you didn't know, 108 megapixel means 108 million pixels. Just think about that for a second. That's a lot of pixels. All of that in a smartphone. And in this 108 megapixel camera, we have a large sensor to ensure the photo quality is clear, to let you experience large resolution HD photos on another level. Let's take a look at a sample shot. Now, we took this awesome looking architecture building shot, and the clarity, off the charts. But what makes 108 megapixel even more special is the ability to really zoom in after you've taken the shot and see the details. In this case, your focus may be on the big architectural building, But behind, when you zoom in, far beyond the past, you can see the architectural crane in the background. This makes 108 megapixels super fun. And when you want to just take a snap with your friends, no one is ever left out when it comes to clarity and focus. Our model in the back is still captured very clearly. Her facial details and the details of her hair are captured clear. This is the power of 108 megapixel. Now, besides having 108 megapixel as a flagship feature, we also have 9-in-1 binning technology. These technologies work together to combine 9 different small pixels into one large superpixel, capturing more light for improved clarity, even in low light conditions. So this will help when you actually turn on HDR on and off, and you can see the clear difference in brightness and how it adjusts the contrast. It's very obvious, and I would recommend our users to have HDR on for any scenic shots. It really improves the experience. But besides 108 megapixel on the X4 Pro, we also have an ultra-wide angle camera and a macro camera. Let's take a look at sample shots from those lenses. Now here's a shot from the ultra-wide sensor. It's perfect for cityscapes. With 118-degree sensor capturing an incredible amount of color, shadow, and detail. But most importantly, you can see there's no distortion around the corners or the actual buildings, which is usually the problem for some of the ultra-wide modes on other smartphones. And then there's my personal favorite, the macro mode. Look at this effect, the way it captures the warm light. For those who are guessing what this object is, it's a light bulb. You get incredible results that comes from a common object that you can just find in your home. Can really power up your creativity. Then we have the front camera. We all like to take a selfie from time to time. And you can see it can capture colors, shadows, and our model's faces very clearly. Of course, besides all the photo content, we also feature a ton of video modes on the X4 Pro 5G. Now, we have mentioned lots of these video functions before, and it's still available on the X4 Pro. We've got cool modes such as kaleidoscope, dual video, super macro mode, and a feature called movie filters that I fall in love with when I go on vacation. I highly recommend our users try all these out. It's a blast. They make out for great social media content, and we actually made a video with some of the features all mixed in one. Let's check it out. So to sum up our POCO X4 Pro's camera, it really is our ace camera. First time to have 108 megapixel on a POCO smartphone, which allows you to take super clear photos, 118-degree ultra-wide camera to help you capture even more. And of course, a macro mode for those artistic shots, along with video functions that help you ace your content on social media platforms. Now you may be wondering, with such a powerful camera, a powerful display, how's the battery life? We've always felt confident in battery. Ace battery in the POCO X4 Pro 5G. Now for ace level battery, it's quite simple in a way. You need a big battery, but also fast charging. When it comes to big battery, we still have a 5,000 milliamp battery. Now remember, we were able to keep a massive battery in our thinnest X series smartphone. For this battery, it still supports up to 2 days of usage once fully charged, which is super handy for those who often don't carry power banks all the time with them. But when you do need to charge up, we got you covered. For our X4 Pro 5G, we support 67-watt turbocharging. This is the second time we've put 67-watt turbocharging onto our X series. It's incredibly fast. And when you put these two elements together, 5,000 milliamp battery and 67-watt turbocharging is the perfect battery and charging combination. Let me break it down for you. For example, in a time of a coffee break, you can charge your phone up to 30%. In a time of an anime episode, which I watch too often myself, you would be charged up to 70%. And if you're charging while having a 30 minutes quick lunch, it can charge up to 90%. And before you even know it, with the combination of 5,000 milliamp battery, 67-watt turbocharging, you can charge up to 100% in just 41 minutes. 41 minutes. 41 minutes, and you get a whole day of usage. At full charge, you'll be able to get so many hours of entertainment, 15 hours of video playback, more than 24 hours of recording, 27 hours of a phone call, and 100 of hours of music playback. It's incredible. And of course, we will be pairing a 67-watt charger in box. Super handy for your travels, so you don't need to bring multiple chargers, just one to charge all your devices. Your laptop, gaming consoles, earphones, tablets, all of it. Super handy. Now, performance. Ace performance. Now, we all know X3 Pro had great performance, but there's still room to improve. First, we're going from a 4G chipset to a 5G chipset, and we will be using 2022's latest 600 series processor by Snapdragon. Introducing the Snapdragon 695. Now, we're one of the first models in the market to use such a new powerful processor by Snapdragon. It's got a couple of great highlights, and I want to highlight two things. First, it's its flagship level 6-nanometer process. As a fresh processor in the market, it actually also features ARM Cortex-A78 as its big core. Now, this structure delivers powerful performance with still one of the industry-leading power efficiency. To see such advanced technology trickle down to the mid-range chipset, it's a great strive in the mobile chipset space. Now, for those who may be wondering, 600 series? Isn't that entry level? Before you jump to that conclusion, let me tell you, it's just a name. And mid-range chipset has come so far in the recent year. If you take the Snapdragon 695 and do a comparison in Antutu, you'll find it outperforming popular 700 series chipset, such as the 765G and the 750G. Like I said, don't read too much into the naming. And for those who want to see an FPS test, we also ran the POCO X4 Pro on a gaming test, using League of Legends Wild Rift, which is a very popular mobile game right now, which is a game I've been playing a lot as well, setting the graphics to high and playing it straight for 1 hour. As you can see, the average FPS was very stable, and we were able to hit an average of 59 FPS out of 60. That's quite impressive. So the upgrade is clear when it comes to why we have decided to feature the Snapdragon 695 in the POCO X4 Pro 5G. First, we went 4G to 5G, a better process from 7 nanometer to 6 nanometer. And lastly, it's one of the latest chipset released by Snapdragon. Now, to pair with this process, we also have flagship level RAM and ROM options, with RAM optional up to 8 GB and ROM up to 256 GB. Of course, we didn't forget the beloved expandable storage of 1 TB. Now, during my last launch event, I introduced dynamic RAM expansion technology that is supported by our software, which means for the X4 Pro 5G, you can now have 8 GB of RAM for the low variant and 11 GB of RAM for the high variant. This puts its RAM technology along those super flagships, and you get great multitasking performance. So this is our X4 Pro's 5G performance. Starting with 5G network that is featured on a newly launched SoC that I cannot wait for our users to try out, and maintaining that flagship RAM and ROM setup. This is ace-level performance. Now let's move on to experience. We talked through most of the hardware, but let's introduce MIUI 13 for POCO. I know software is a huge part where our users care about, and we've made some optimizations. There's a total of 4 main parts I want to run through today that has been optimized and improved. It's liquid storage, atomized memory, focus processing, and smart power balance. First, let's talk about liquid storage, a new way to manage the way our files are stored. With liquid storage, we have made sure after a long period of time usage, your write speed and read speed will maintain at a high level. Unlike some other Android OS, for the first few months as a fresh device, the phone is pretty quick, but it gradually slows down throughout time, and it's because the way it's stored for the write files. With MIUI 13 for POCO, we have optimized that issue. And for atomized memory, we have increased 40% on background process efficiency, so multitasking comes at a breeze. And to support that, we also have to prioritize the performance in what's active on your screen right now. That's why we introduced focus processing. With MIUI's new focus processing algorithm, it prioritizes the active app above all others. This helps not only save the processing speed, but also save more battery for you. And of course, without a new calculated algorithm for battery, smart power balance can get your battery life increased by 10%. Now, it's not a big number, but it's still pretty great when it comes to saving battery. Every single percentage counts. And it comes to the hardware experience side, we also have kept the dual speaker setup across all of our X series devices. It's no different for our X4 Pro 5G. This will give you an immersive sound experience that's great for gaming or video watching, or simply just playing the music. You can act it like a speaker. And lastly, we can't forget the daily functions. The legendary features such as IR Blaster for you to easily control your home electronics, NFC that helps you make wireless payments when you need it, and headphone jack with high-res audio certified, which comes handy when you're chasing after that high sound quality, or as a backup when your wireless earphones run out of battery. This is our X4 Pro 5G. With so many features that we've gone through, we believe it has brought the X series to new highs. It really is the new ace for us within our X series, and it definitely lives up to its new title, the all-around ace, with a newly improved screen and camera module supported by a strong 5G chipset, providing a complete all-around experience. Let's take a look at an intro video.
And I'm faster than them, yeah. All of them niggas, they trash, forget them, yeah.
Moving on to price. Now, I'm sure many of you are itching to know what this is. But as always, let's do a comparison. Now, if we take a look at some of the popular mid-rangers in the market between 2021 and 2022, we usually take a strong strive in performance. However, this year, it's an all-around upgrade. We outperform our competitors in screen, battery, and camera. As far as right now, their price is roughly around 400 euros to 450 euros. Let's see ours. For the POCO X4 Pro 5G, our base variant of 6GB plus 128GB option, we have an amazing price of 299 euros. Now that is truly acing the value. But as tradition goes, you know we're not done yet. We have an early bird price of 269 euros. An absolute deal. If you guys think about all the spec for just 269 euros, it's already quite shocking. But we still have the higher variant. We're not done yet. For the 8GB plus 256GB high variant option, we have a price of 349 euros. flagship level RAM and ROM with all those specs packed into this ace. Of course, early bird, right? Let's check it out. 319 euros. Just a little bit over 300 euros, you're getting AMOLED upgrade, 108 megapixel camera, 5G chipset, and the list just goes on. So we come back to this chart and see the comparison with the price. Not only we outperformed in spec, we also outperform our competitors' pricing by at least 100 euros to 150 euros just with our original price. And with the early bird pricing, it's even more crazy. So I'm confident our fans and users right now cannot wait to get their hands on this awesome device. And here are the channels that will be available on March 2nd. Make sure you don't miss out. Now remember, we do have an early bird price, so check out with your local region platforms to make sure it's available. Of course, we do have more platforms coming. Now for these platforms, you can follow your regional POCO social media accounts to find out their opening sale date. Make sure to tune in. I wouldn't want you guys to miss out on this phone with this insane pricing. So here it is in summary, the POCO X4 Pro 5G, the all-around ace. Simple, 120 Hz AMOLED dot display, 108 megapixel triple camera setup, latest 5G Snapdragon 695 processor with a 5,000 milliamp battery that comes with 67 watt charging. And those are just the core specs. It's an amazing phone. Now, usually, I would say that's all for today. But actually, next up, we have M series. Introducing POCO M4 Pro, our latest 2022 model for our M series. Now, last time, with our M4 Pro 5G, it was all about powering up your fun. Today, with our new M4 Pro, we're here to maximize your fun. Fun is a key word for our M series. Fun in a smartphone these days would usually mean social media, online shopping, photography, some casual gaming. You do everything on your smartphone. Today, our M4 Pro is going to take fun to a higher level than before. And just like the X series, let's start with display early on. Oh yes, for the very first time in N series as well, we're super excited to announce the POCO M4 Pro will be featuring an AMOLED display as well. Now, I always thought people might expect this to come to X series this year, but I bet you guys didn't see it coming for M series today. With our M4 Pro's AMOLED display, it supports up to 1,000 nits at peak brightness and a contrast ratio of 4.5 million to 1. So no matter what you're doing on your smartphone under the bright sun or at night, we got you covered with brightness. And of course, we have to make sure we have DCI-P3 so then we can offer a true color experience for our users. And when it comes to resolution and PPI, the new POCO M4 Pro is no slouch either, supporting 409 PPI on a 6.43-inch device. And of course, being bright, colorful, we kept our screen fast. Ever since the POCO M3 Pro 5G, we kept the 90 Hz refresh rate. For some users and fans out there, 90 Hz is a sweet spot for refresh rate. It offers smooth scrolling and game experience, and it doesn't drain the battery as much as 120 Hz. So when we combine all the upgrades, starting with AMOLED, we've taken M series display tech to a new high as well. With the combo of 90 Hz and AMOLED, I'm certain our users will get a great viewing experience. Now we talked about the display, let's talk about the back. M series design has always been eye-catching, and we start off with Power Black, a classy, simple, elegant black that makes a statement for premium look and feel. And of course, if you know we're naming this Power Black, you can imagine what comes next. Cool Blue, one of the most underrated colors in my opinion. It's got such a young, vibrant feel to it, and in real life, it looks better than the photos. At least that's what I think. And lastly, the M series famous color, the POCO Yellow. It's been over a year since we've launched POCO Yellow, and till this day, I'm still stunned at how good a yellow phone looks. And I'm sure with this color variant, a lot of fans are going to be falling in love with this. So here are the three colors for our M4 Pro. It's the same three colors we've launched in previous devices, but upgraded with a new stunning design. Now, I did say maximize design. Doesn't mean it's big. It actually means a better design experience. And let me explain how. Just like the POCO X4 Pro 5G, our M4 Pro only sits at 8.09 millimeter thin, making this our slimmest M-series smartphone to date, which offers great hand feel. And to make it even better, the POCO M4 Pro is only 179.5 grams in weight. Now, which makes it not only the lightest smartphone in M-series, but the lightest POCO smartphone to be released so far. Now, in such a light and thin phone, it comes with a 5,000 milliamp battery that can last for 2 days of usage, just like our X4 Pro 5G. Battery will never be compromised at POCO, even with a thin design. And like its M4 Pro 5G sibling, we also support 33-watt Pro fast charging, which can charge up the phone up to 100% in just 61 minutes. That's pretty fast. And of course, we will be including a 33-watt fast charger in box along as well. And to make sure it can charge fast and not heat up during the charging process, we have included liquid cool technology 1.0 Plus. Now, this allows the phone to disperse the heat coming from the charging heat spots, a very underrated function. And now, we got camera, also a very key area for our M-series users. Let's see how the M4 Pro maxed up here. Not long ago, we featured 50 megapixel for the first time in M-series, and today, we're featuring a 64 megapixel camera module in the M4 Pro, giving our fans and users flagship level megapixels. Let's take a look at a sample shot. And we took this on an M4 Pro with 2 of our models. We purposely put them in an environment where there isn't a huge amount of light overall, but the result was still stunning. You can see the facial details and how accurate focused the model's faces are. Now, the POCO M4 Pro is a triple camera setup, with this main lens being 64 megapixel and the 2 other cameras being 118-degree ultra-wide and a macro camera. We can take a look at sample shots for those as well. With ultra-wide camera, you can easily capture cool shots like this, where it can not only capture you in the photo, in this case, the model clearly, but also capture more background to set the whole scene, making it a great social media post. Then we have macro mode, and I gotta say this might be my favorite picture out of all of them. Up close, it looks like a huge rope, but actually, this is a yellow charging cable. That's pretty crazy, right? To be able to get so close and you actually have to question, what could it be? That's the joy macro mode can bring for you. And for our portrait mode, which is almost essential for social media posts these days, the POCO M4 Pro captures clearly, no matter the environment is during the day or during the nighttime. And lastly, we do have our front camera. In this photo, you can see with so many lights in the background, you would think it would blur out the model's face. But instead, it captured her perfectly. You can even see the scratches on the metal bars in the background because no details gets missed. This is the POCO M4 Pro's camera, featuring a 64 megapixel flagship camera that can really maximize your social media space, or simply just to create great memories. Make sure to try it out. I'm sure our fans can have a lot of creative shots with this camera. It can really power up your creativity. Now, experience. Now, I just spoke about how important experience is for all of our smartphone. And powering all the features I just mentioned about, we have the MediaTek Helio G96, which is a very mature processor. This processor can offer amazing performance that allows you to maximize your daily fun activities no matter what you're doing, taking sharp and clear photos, watching HD video, or some casual gaming. It can handle with ease. But not only we put in such a great processor, for the first time in M-series, we have incorporated the 8GB RAM option onto the M4 Pro, bring RAM technology to new heights in the M-series as well. Of course, it will also support dynamic RAM technology, which allows you on the low variant to get 8GB of RAM and 11GB on the high variant, just like our X4 Pro 5G. This is super worth it, especially in the mid-range segment. But not only we upgraded the RAM, we also put 256GB ROM option for the very first time in M-series, making this a truly flagship ROM and RAM setup. Don't worry, we still have expandable storage available on the M4 Pro as well, up to 1 terabyte of expandable storage. So you have the option to store a ton of movies, songs, images, or just files. And to make sure you have the best immersive experience paired with our AMOLED display, we also fitted dual speakers for the M4 Pro, which is starting to become a standard, even for mid-range phones. And lastly, our daily convenience features that is always beloved in M series. With features like FM radio, headphone jack, and IR blaster, it is here to make sure you can enjoy these small handy features, always. So to sum everything up, the POCO M4 Pro had 2 major updates, and we're so happy to bring those to you. We understand display and camera are crucial in this day and age with so much digital content being created and consumed. So we upped those categories specifically, and other specs such as RAM and ROM technology. But to put it in simple words, today's POCO M4 Pro is currently the best display and camera smartphone in M series. Just remember this. Now price. Let's go straight into a comparison. When we put ourselves against some of the mid-rangers among the market, and you can see in many areas such as performance, battery, and camera, we're either better or we're equal. Their cost is starting from 249 euros all the way to potentially 400 euros. For our POCO M4 Pro's base variant, 6 GB plus 128 GB option, we have an amazing price of 219 euros. Just a little bit over 200 euros for all those great specs, really maximizing the value here. But of course, let's talk about the early bird. The early bird starts out at 199 euros, below 200 euros. Value maximized at its finest. Remember, AMOLED screen, 64 megapixel, great processor. And for the high variant, the first time ever, 8 GB, 256 GB option in M series, 269 euros. 269 euros for its 8 GB plus 256 GB smartphone. That alone is pretty crazy. For our early bird, it gets even better. From 269 euros, our early bird price will be starting at 249 euros. Now, let me repeat myself again. 249 euros for 8 GB, 256 GB smartphone with AMOLED screen, 64 megapixel triple camera. That's maximum value. And when we come back to this comparison, you can see the spec difference and the price difference. I believe this chart speaks for itself. And for those who are watching right now, I'm certain you guys are waiting when and where to get this awesome phone. The POCO M4 Pro will be first available on these platforms also on March 2nd. Now, early bird pricing will be available based on different regions, so make sure to check it out. Of course, we have a lot more platforms coming. So make sure to follow our local region's POCO accounts so you don't miss out on this deal. It's very important. Don't miss out. It's a crazy deal. So this is our POCO M4 Pro. With a newly improved display and camera module, it is here to maximize your fun. Now, that's all the product I have for you today, but let's invite Kevin back on stage. He has a surprise for you guys all. I'll see you guys next time, though.
Thank you, Angus, for introducing to our awesome smartphones. Now, Angus has released the price for both devices. But as our first launch of 2022, and to thank you all for the support in 2021, we will be doing a limited offer on 2nd of March, bringing an even more competitive price for you all. With our X4 Pro 5G starting at 249 euros, and the POCO M4 Pro starting at 179 euros. Don't miss out on those deals. 2nd of March, mark your calendars. It's been an awesome first event of the year. It's going to be one very, very exciting year for us here at POCO. And I can promise you, same for our fans. We got a lot to show you this year, but for now, thank you all for joining us today. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you very soon. Thank you.